every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning Alabama forecast. And taking a look at some of our Skywatcher pictures, this is actually from yesterday evening. This is from Lamar Yarborough at Logan Martin Lake. Beautiful skies there above the lake. We just had lots of beautiful sunsets here lately. And sunrise from Nate Sullivan in Delta and Clay County over this chicken here. But you got beautiful sun coming up above the horizon there, and just some nice colors in the clouds. And then we also have Joshua Bowen, who's one of our Skywatchers who's visiting Cocoa Beach right now. Got to see a SpaceX launch this morning. See the exhaust there coming from the rocket. And you can see it looks like the rocket's right there going up into space. So that's really cool getting to see that kind of thing. And taking a look at our satellite radar, more sunshine across the state this morning compared to yesterday. Not nearly as much rain happening. There's really hardly a shower across the state right now, just a few scattered clouds in the northeastern part of the state, a few kind of in the western part of the state. There was a few areas of patchy fog earlier this morning, but overall not much, and it's just a really beautiful day to start off this morning. And we'll take a tour around the sky cams, and it's looking really nice out there too. Russellville with blue skies, temperature 75 degrees, pretty much perfect way to start. Dew point still not too bad, pretty relatively dry air. Still had a little bit of a cool feel to the air this morning in a lot of parts of the state. Mount Cheaha, again, similar looking skies here, just pretty much almost cloudless there, blue, and temperature at 70 degrees over a dew point of 59 degrees. And then looking further to the south, we also have Dozier coming in at 78 degrees and 65 degrees. So again, across the state, it almost looks exactly the same with these clear skies out there. And then as we move down to the coast, taking a look at our Spanish Fort camera, it's definitely a little bit warmer. It's 80 degrees. Still not too bad as far as just the humidity in the air. And again, blue skies with maybe just a few clouds there, but just a beautiful look. And so great way to start the day across the state. And what we're watching for today and the rest of this week, spotty showers possible mainly north today. Not expecting as much of a chance as we had yesterday, where we had some heavier rain in spots, had a few flood advisories. Not expecting that as much today. Could be a rumble of thunder or two if something gets going, but generally expecting drier weather across most of the state. And again, if there is anything mostly over North Alabama, South Alabama should be basically dry today. And then a hot afternoon is what we're expecting on Friday. And so we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. As we take a look at our low temperatures, though, that have occurred so far this morning, gotten down generally into the 60s. It's got down to 61 in Anniston and Gadsden, 62 in Clanton, and even lower 60s down towards the southeast as well. Again, we've had a little bit of an influence of some easterly flow and a little bit lower dew points and low moisture in the eastern part of the state and southeastern part of the state. A little bit warmer at Chatham at 65 degrees. And looking at our Skywatcher reports, still had a couple reports down in the upper 50s. Steve Jones in Heflin in Cleveland County got down to 57 degrees. Jordan Housen in Chelsea got down to 60. Angie Thompson in Aniana to 62. Mike Thomas down in Lake Martin, Tallapoosa County, 64 degrees. And then Robin Charnier in Orange Beach got down to 66. So again, when you have places along the coast getting down the 60s and not the 70s, we'll still take that when it could be a lot warmer and more humid than that. Temperatures, though, right now have warmed into the 70s mostly, but a few places a little bit warmer. It's actually already 82 degrees in Birmingham, but surrounding areas are in the 70s. 77 in Coleman, 77 in Clinton, even 79 in Montgomery. Mobile's already up to 82, and so is Gulf Shores. Forecast highs for today generally going to be, similar to what we've seen the last day or two, but maybe a little bit warmer in spots because we don't have the cloud cover around as much today. So it could get up to around 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa, 89 in Selma, 86 in Florence. So again, generally upper 80s to around 90 degrees in most of the state. Rain totals for the past 24 hours. So again, like we've talked about, the southern part of the state has become sort of the dry part of the state in the last few days. We did have some decent rain totals in spots yesterday. Some there up in parts of Colbert and Lauderdale and Lawrence counties, Franklin counties had a flood advisory yesterday, had a decent little shower and a flood advisory in Tuscaloosa yesterday as well. But generally, most places didn't get a whole lot, if anything. And here's kind of the look at what's happening right now. So we have this little trough here to the nearby where we're starting to fire some storms off to the west of here. And again, some of that influence could bring a shower or two around here today. Got high pressure off to the east, and again, that circulation around that is helping to bring in a little bit of that dry air from the east. But again, not a huge weather maker necessarily right here for today. We'll expect a front, though, that will approach tomorrow that'll give us a little bit better chance of some showers, especially north. And we'll take a look at that in the future cast here. So again, today the models are really not showing a whole lot. Few sprinkles possible in a few spots, but generally the state stays mostly dry and fairly sunny and warm. Then as we get into tomorrow, again, we get this front starting to come down and get a little bit more organized band of some showers and storms. Especially towards the state line, could get a little bit more organized thunderstorms, could have a few strong storms. We'll keep an eye on it for tomorrow, but generally the main threat of that would be more up into Tennessee and up points to the northeast. But you can see there are a few heavier cells there as we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we'll be keeping an eye on it just in case. And then as we get into Friday morning, things start to clear out. And as we move on through that, we expect, again, a pretty warm day on Friday. Development chance as far as the tropics are concerned, we're still watching this area here. You got some disorganized showers and storms here on the eastern edge of this red zone here, which is the 70% chance from the National Hurricane Center of formation. We do expect that this will become a depression here by probably the weekend as it moves more to the west. But again, this is still pretty far out to the east, still quiet out to the west. And so again, at least in the Gulf and places that would be impacting Alabama directly, no worries for that for the next week, but we'll continue to watch it. 7-day forecast for North Alabama, getting into the mid-80s today. Again, small chance of a shower or two, a little bit better chance of that, and maybe a few rumbles of thunder, maybe a strong storm or two possible, especially far north for tomorrow. And then again, pretty warm on Friday. Even though we'll have a front pass through, the air mass behind it is not going to be much different. So you'll expect to get into the low 90s with a little bit drier air in place. Weekend looks pretty nice, though, with temperatures in the 80s. We'll have another kind of reinforcing front on Saturday. Might bring a small chance of rain, but mainly just bringing a little bit cooler temperatures in, a little bit drier air, so that'll be nice. But we expect next week might see a little bit of a ramp up of some rain chances eventually. And then for South Alabama, again, we expect upper 80s to around 90 degrees as we get into today. Again, small rain chances really across the board, even through the weekend. Could get pretty warm as we hit Friday and Saturday even, but again, not expecting a lot in the way of rain until we get later on or get into early next week, potentially before those rain chances start to tick back up. All right, that is your Alabama statewide forecast for now. We'll have another one coming up later on the Alabama Weather Network.